good evening to all of you. It's Friday and welcome to Joint Caucus. So it's been a week of a debate on who has performed better when it comes to infrastructural development in this country. Well, it all started with Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in launching the delivery tracker.gov.gh. That's the website that he believes has all the projects that the NPP has started. Over 17,000 projects, according to the Vice President, out of which more than 8,000 have been completed, with 8,588 ongoing. He says the NPP's infrastructural record is unmatched. The NPP has done better than any government in its first term under the Fourth Republic. For him, in fact, the NDC could actually bring their 8 years record, and they can't match the NPP's record. That has led many of you getting into fact-checking and having a debate. In fact, on Wednesday during Minority Caucus, it was about the projects. It was about the infrastructure record of both parties. And then on Thursday last night, the NPP also did same. So tonight, we want to settle it here on Joint Caucus. We want to have the NPP and NDC join us as we get into this all-important conversation. Is the Vice President right in saying the NPP's record when it comes to infrastructure is unmatched? Or maybe he's engaged in a suicidal mission in comparing the NPP's record to the NDC, which touts itself as the party that has developed Ghana most when it comes to infrastructure. Or probably many of the things John Mahama commissioned under his tenure were projects that started under the Mills administration. And thus, for John Mahama's 4 years, the NPP could maybe match him. My name is Winston Amoah, and this is Joint Caucus on the Joy News channel. When we return after this break, I'll be introducing my guest, and then the debate will begin. All right, so welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. This is Joint Caucus on Joy News channel. I am Winston Amoah, and tonight I've been joined to my right, a member of the NPP's National Communications team, Ama Frimpong, and then to my left, Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, representing the NDC, Sam George Nate. Honorable Sam George Nate and Ama Frimpong, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, Winston. Good evening, Honorable.
I believe all of you are doing well.
We are very fine.
Fantastic.
Very, very fine.
So we'll make it very, simple. If you want to make any rebuttal, just signal me. I'll give you time to do that so that we can hear each of you clearly. Let me start off with the Honorable Sam George. So Dr. Bawumia says the NPP's records unmatched. In fact, what they have done is unprecedented in the Fourth Republic for the first term of any government.
Let me say a very good evening to our viewers and to your good self. And let's establish the fact that this week, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has actually exposed this government to ridicule and proper scrutiny with many of the claims that he has made. If you followed contemporary media and social media over the past 2 days, you'd realize that a good number of people are calling out the Vice President for the dishonesty that existed in his presentation. I mean, like you rightly put it, and like my colleague Felix Kwachofosu did 2 days ago on this platform, it was a suicidal mission that has been undertaken by Dr. Bawumia, and we would seal the fate of the suicidal mission on the 7th of December, God willing. Dr. Bawumia, and I will start using my constituency, for example, as a case study. I've gone to the delivery tracker.gov.gh website and looked at the infrastructure that has been pointed out there as having been delivered in Ningo Prampram. Dr. Bawumia makes or lends credit to this NDC NPP administration for delivering the Dawa Industrial Enclave. The Dawa Industrial Enclave is a private initiative by a Ghanaian company called LMI Holdings Limited. It started in 2014, before this government even came into being. In 2014, the Dawa Industrial Enclave, which is a 2,000-acre private development, started. This government has done nothing for them, has nothing, no investment in LMI Holdings. It's wholly owned as a Ghanaian company. Yet Dr. Bawumia claims that that's their investment in Ningo Prampram, or their infrastructural intervention in Ningo Prampram. He mentions B5 Plus. B5 Plus was incorporated and started working in this country in 2002. Again, he ascribes that to themselves. In fact, in the case of B5 Plus, it's very annoying because B5 Plus has put in $80 million of investment in my constituency by way of building the biggest steel plant in Africa. It's got 3 firing chambers. At the moment, B5 Plus is using only one of the 3 firing chambers because government is unwilling and unready and unprepared to give them the capacity of energy, power, electricity that they need to fire the three chambers. The capacity given to them, they are firing only 1 chamber. Yet you go around and say that you've done anything for them. You've done nothing for them. They mention Omnifet. Omnifet is a fertilizer manufacturing company that is part of the Omni group of companies owned by Mr. Michael Zumelu, 100% Ghanaian owned, not by government, private capital in my constituency. Again, they claim that that is theirs. In fact, they go ahead and mention a 6-unit classroom block in New Ningo. There is no 6-unit classroom block in New Ningo as we speak. The Dawa through Lepono to Ahiam Road is cited 4 different times. 4 different times on the development tracker. One road. A road that was started in 2013 under the NDC administration. So at the end of the day, you want to look at Ningo Prampram as a case study and realize that this government has failed. Then Dr. Bawumia goes ahead to make a comparison of interchanges. And I'm gobsmacked. For him to come as vice president without seeking technical professional advice to make the comments he made tells you that at no point in time in our history have we needed seriousness restored to the office of the vice president like at this time. And that's where Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman comes in. Because look, for a vice president to mount a platform and compare interchanges and say that Kwame Nkrumah interchange costs $270 million and 4 other interchanges are costing $289 million and leave it at that, tells you how pedestrian. Look, even in a palm wine bar, you will not have that level of discussion. Reason being, the Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange is the first of its kind in the whole of West Africa. It's a composite steel bridge. And anybody who understands construction and civil engineering would know that what goes into the base of the bridge is equally important. The water table at Circle is unstable. I saw the construction of that interchange. I visited it several times. They had to do piling of piers as much as 20 meters down into the earth table to go beyond the water table of Circle interchange to hold it. Again, when you are building an interchange, you look at the scope of work. That interchange is two independent interchanges that have been put together, and then the ancillary services. That interchange is not a concrete interchange. Concrete bridges have a certain cost and a certain lifespan because they're all concrete. They have a lifespan of about 20 years. What you have at Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange is a composite steel and concrete bridge, which has a lifespan of 75 years. And so at the end of the day, when you want to compare the two, this is akin to somebody who has a VW Golf and says that because the VW Golf has 4 tires and has a steering wheel and is a car, somebody who is driving a Mercedes-Benz S500, his S500 should not cost more than the Golf. That is the logic of Dr. Bawumia. And to even expose to you further the disingenuity of Dr. Bawumia.
As you wrap up.
Yes. In the 4 bridges that he quotes, he should come back and explain to us why the Obechebi-Lamte Circle interchange, which is a 1-tier interchange, is costing $135 million. But the Pokwasi interchange, which is a 4-tier interchange, is costing $84 million. It's simple, because the engineering going into the Obechebi-Lamte Circle is similar to what happened at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. It's the same company, Mr. Skiros Galvao. They are doing a composite steel and concrete bridge at Obechebi-Lamte Circle. So that in itself exposes the lack of honesty and candor in the submission by Dr. Bawumia. And we will take our time and go sector by sector and interrogate the issues.
Let me get to Amma Frimpong. Yes, Amma.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for having me. Before I start, today His Excellency the President, he commissioned 2 factories. We have the Ekumfi Juice Factory and the Casa de Ropa. Both are under the 1D1F. So Ekumfi and Gomoa Bewazi people are grateful to the President for helping private initiatives to establish factories in their various constituencies. Also the NPP, my party, tomorrow, we are launching our manifesto in Cape Coast. So I'll say safe travels to everyone going there and wish everyone well. His Excellency the Vice President, I think it's becoming very obvious that he's the nightmare of the NDC, because anytime he speaks, he sets the pace. So I'll call him the pace setter, and they have to, rush, come out, diffuse, try to do whatever they want to do. Immediately after his wonderful presentation on infrastructure, we had the National Communications Officer of the NDC come out to say that on Thursday, which is yesterday, they would do a press briefing or a press conference to tell us all about it. It's Friday, it's almost end of the week. We still haven't heard anything from the National Communications Director. We've heard Honorable Sam George, Honorable Felix Kwachio-Fosu going round. So I don't know if that is what he meant or if there's going to be another one. And I'd like to say something. What Dr. Bawumia said about 4 interchanges and the Kwame Nkrumah circle, is it not a fact that if you combine them, the price is different? I'm no civil engineer, so I don't know who does structures or who does not do structures. But what I do know is that if you are going to tell me, the layman, that because I put in concrete or because you put in balustrades or whatever, that's why the price is higher than this. The fact still remains that the 4 that we are doing and that one, the prices don't match up. It costs more. So that's a fact that we need to establish. Then secondly, the Pokuase interchange. I live on that route. I live at Amasaman, so I travel on that route every day. I still don't know how it's going to come out. I tell people that I still haven't figured it out. But then I remember the Honorable Roads Minister say that the previous administration, when they had the contract or when they had the document, it was meant to be a 3-tier. This particular NPP administration, we've managed to sit down with the contractors. They've said that for the same amount of money, it is going to be 4-tier. So that's also another fact. When they went through the documents, what came out was that it was going to be a 3-tier for the same price. We've managed to deliberate with them, talk to them. They've said that yes, we can do a 4-tier at no cost extra, no extra cost as well. So that's also another thing that we are going to talk about. When you come to the point that I don't know Ningo Pram very well, so I'm not going to sit here and say what he's saying is factual or not. We've all seen the delivery tracker app. If you go there, for every new product that comes out, there's probably going to be a challenge here and there. We've had people that work on it. If someone sees something and comes to say that, well, this particular one, I think I myself saw one that Tamale was sited in Greater Accra. And then I alerted the people behind it that, look, Tamale is obviously not in Greater Accra. That does not mean that the project does not exist just because the region there's been a mistake in a region. Every one of the projects, if we have the time here, we can sit down, go through it and mention all of them. Some MMDCs have even come out to say that their projects were not even on the platform. They haven't seen A or B that they've done on the platform. If for any reason you believe that there's one on there that is not yours or it was exchanged or something like that, it does not mean that it's wrong or that it's a lie. It could be a technical mistake. But saying that Dr. Bawumia has misled Ghanaians, I totally disagree. Everything that we've said is on there. If you take the Axim defense wall, this week, for example, the president was there in the Western region. He spoke to the contractors. They said that even with COVID, the timelines are still going to be maintained. It's going to go on. It's on there. If you come to the same Axim, there's also a fishing landing site. These are all projects that we are doing. Small projects. I've heard some people in the NDC make fun of a project like a place of convenience. Someone says that today the NPP is touting an achievement that's a place of convenience and they are making fun of it. Yes, we are not talking about only legacy projects or only large projects. Small projects were in there, medium projects. If you are in a community has needs-based, what they need. If you come to my hometown, if you go to Bono and you go to a community, the Odumase, and you ask them what they want, it's going to be different from what someone in Ningo Pram needs. So if the community says to us that we want a place of convenience for this area and it's constructed for them, you don't have to make fun of it because that is what they need. Okay. That is what they want. Okay. If another community says we want roads and you construct roads for them, for lack of anything, this particular year has been touted as our year of roads.
On that note, hold on for me, Amma, because that's the end of your 5 minutes that I gave both of you. So, yes, I've been checking the time, don't worry. So let's get in now, George, and you now want to go sector by sector.
Yes, I'll do sector by sector.
Yeah, so go ahead and do sector by sector in 10 minutes.
But you see, yes, before I go into the sector by sector, let me just make the point that, Amma, right?
Yes.
Amma said she's not a civil engineer. That's fine. If you're not a civil engineer, then don't get into civil engineering debates. And that goes also to Dr. Bawumia. Because you see, you cannot say...
But she's also asked the question. She says, well, is it the case that this is the cost?
So in engineering, we don't just look at cost without scope of work. Every practice, every profession has its ethos and its ethics. So if Dr. Bawumia says he's an economist, he should stick to his economics and not get into engineering debates. Because when he gets into engineering debates, we would expose the dishonesty in his submissions. Because in engineering, no two projects are the same. Even when you have the same design of houses, depending on the land that you are building, the cost could be different because one land is going to need filling. So if they have civil engineers in the NPP, who would advise them? You remember President Akufo-Addo, then candidate Akufo-Addo, made the same goof when he said the Kaswa interchange was overpriced. The NPP ranking member on roads at the time, who is an engineer, had to come out and tell then candidate Akufo-Addo that he was wrong. That project was not overpriced. Again, I have not questioned the location of projects. I am questioning the existence of the projects. So it is not a matter of whether the project is wrongly cited or whether the project is there and is not there. I'm saying that private development and private investment cannot be cited as government's own intervention. And that it is dishonest to paint private intervention and private investment as government's intervention. Now, let's look at the area of the airport, aviation, for example. In Dr. Bawumia's slides, he gives 3 things that he's achieved. He says the construction of the Kumasi Airport Phase 2 and 3, the rehabilitation of Sunyani Airport is ongoing, and construction of Tamale Airport Phase 3 is 30% complete. The Tamale Airport, the funding for Phase 3 was secured in 2016, and Parliamentary Hansard bears that out. That project was conceived, the Phase 1, which saw the widening of the runway, an extension of the runway to allow wide aircraft, which allowed for us to airlift people to pilgrims for the Hajj in Mecca, straight from Tamale in 2015 and 2016, is evidence of Phase 1. Phase 2 funding was secured and approved by the 6th Parliament. So today, if you come and tell me that a project that was done under the Mahama administration with funding secured is your project, again, the people of Tamale will listen to you and laugh. Kumasi again, Kumasi Phase 2. The upgrade of Phase 1 by the provision of aeronautical landing lights that allowed even President Mahama to fly from Europe straight into Kumasi in 2015 was Phase 1. The construction of Phase 2, again, the 6th Parliament in 2016 approved funding for that project. So today when you sit here and tell me that that is your achievement, let's even credit that to you. Now let me tell you what the NDC's achievement in the aviation sector is. Terminal 3, which is a terminal of the Kotoka International Airport that has a capacity to handle 5 million passengers a year, is our legacy. The Terminal 3 that you are selling for $70 million to a Turkish company that we have invested and is valued at in excess of 5 billion Ghana cedis. You are giving 66% of that to a Turkish company for 70%. A terminal you didn't build.
To manage. They're forming a company, Newco, to manage the airport. And in that company, the Turkish companies will have 66%. And the Ghana Airport Company has 34%.
And since when did the Ghana Airport Company become incompetent enough to handle that? The Ghana Airport Company did not and has never said they were unable of managing Terminal 3. In fact, they were managing Terminal 3 and repaying the loan before this government came into office. So that argument is moot and dead on arrival. Before even building Terminal 3, we upgraded T2 to a world-class standard of any airport across the African sub-region and part of the world. We built the Kumasi Airport Phase 1 and 2. We built the Tamale Airport Phase 1 and 2. We built the whole airport from scratch, completed it. Wa Airport expansion, completed. This is our record in aviation. Then let's go to education. When you go to education, if you read Dr. Bawumia's slides, and in his slides in education, he has a grand total of 1,253 projects that have been completed and 1,446 that are ongoing, giving a total of 2,699. In the 4 years of President Mahama, we put together a total of 4,454 basic school infrastructure. And this is excluding things like toilet blocks, things like teachers' blocks, things like urinals that they have counted in their own of 2,600. And it shocks you, yes. But under the Schools on a Tree project alone, we eradicated over 1,600 schools. Before the projects in the senior high schools, before the construction of our 123 e-blocks, where 88 had already taken off the ground and 47 of them had been completed. So at the end of the day, our record in education completely dwarfs yours. And if you even want us to go to the tertiary level, under President Mahama started and found the funding for the Somania University, the university in the Eastern region. The Parliament in 2016 approved the funding for that. The contract was awarded to Mrs. Constructora of Brazil under the NDC administration, not your government. You didn't come and sign a contract. So today, tell me one university that President Akufo-Addo has built. And if you want to take on the suicidal jest of Dr. Baumia, where he says you should look at the 8 years, then I'm going to throw in the University of Health and Allied Sciences, the University of Energy and Natural Resources in your own region, your home region. You get it. At the end of the day, you point to the fact that you have absolutely nothing to hold against us. Let's go to the area of health. In the area of health, Dr. Baumia makes the claim that they have built 378 completed projects. And out of the 378, 243 of them are CHIPS compounds. Look, for CHIPS compound alone, as a presidential staffer, my salary was deducted every year, every month, to build CHIPS compounds with every appointee of the president. All Article 71 holders did that. That alone, we built over 500 CHIPS compounds from just the salaries of President Mahama's appointees. Your government, in 4 years, just the deduction from our salary built over 500. You, as a government, have built 243. That is all you've been able to build. And you think you can come and challenge us on infrastructure debate? In all, they say they have put together 673 health infrastructure. Now let's look at our record in the health sector. We have built the teaching hospital, the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Its expansion from a 400 bed to 800 bed was under the NDC administration. We have built regional hospitals. Apart from that, we have actually built the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, which is what people call RAGE, was built under us. A 400-bed facility with a 200-bed residential facility for support staff for that hospital. Again, we have built 2 institutional hospitals, the Bank and Maritime Hospital. We built the 14 district hospitals. 14 districts got brand new hospitals, like the Shayo Sudoku district, where today, under your development tracker, you have listed the Dodowa Hospital as your project. You must be honest. You must. I mean, this is intellectual theft.
Talks about projects that were started under the previous administration, which they have seen its completion. He admits that there were projects that were started by the NDC.
If you go to the development tracker, the Dodowa Hospital is cited as an NPP project. And you see, this is the same NPP where when President Akufo-Addo goes to commission President Mahama's project, he doesn't as much as even mention and give credits to him. Look, when the Buidam, do you know whose idea the Buidam was? It was a for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. President Kufuor went and found some of the money. Professor Mills found the rest of the money to complete it, over $200 million to complete the Buidam. Yet when we're going to commission the Buidam, because we are a government that understands giving credits to people where it is due, we went to President Kufuor and gave him his due to commission the Buidam with Professor Mills. The MIDA money that came for N1, the N1 highway, it was secured under President Kufuor. But the entire construction of that project happened under Professor Mills. When we're going to commission the MIDA, the N1, we brought President Kufuor to join in and take his share, his credit. So that is a government that gives credit where it is due. Not a government that goes to put on its own tracker that it built a hospital that it did not, that it knows nothing about. When it comes to CHIPS compound, when you look at what government built, in addition to what presidential appointees, our salary deductions were, we built 1,600 CHIPS compounds as compared to your 263.
On that note,
we built 58 health centers. We built 22 polyclinics.
Okay, hold on for me because I need to get.
My 10 minutes is up already.
10 minutes is up. Oh, you could check the time.
No, but she will lend me some of her time. Don't worry.
George, are you an engineer?
Yes.
You are an engineer.
Yes.
Civil, mechanical.
No, I'm an agric engineer.
Agric.
Yes.
So Agric engineers, do you build?
Well, if anybody who
because you say someone has no business talking about civil engineering. So I thought maybe you were a civil engineer.
You said you're not a civil engineer.
Yeah, but that's why I'm asking you. You did engineering, but not civil engineering.
If anybody who did agric engineering will tell you that in our first and second year, we do courses from civil engineering, from mechanical engineering.
But you didn't major in civil engineering.
I did not.
Okay,
absolutely
that's
not.
Fair enough. That's fine.
Absolutely not.
That's fine.
I challenge you and any civil engineer
I wanted to know.
Question the basis of what I have said.
A question,
yes.
And you've given an answer.
Yes.
So you're not a civil engineer.
I didn't say I was one.
No, you never said. I'm asking you.
Yes.
Okay. First and foremost.
If you want to question my civil engineering credentials that I've put out here, you're free to.
I haven't.
I'm gonna go ahead. Yes.
First and foremost, for clarity, Kotoka International Airport is not for sale. The Ministry of Aviation have come out to say that. I've looked on my Joy Online website, 7 July 2020, and that's the headline there. So let's debunk that. Kotoka International Airport is not for sale, please. And we are talking about, when you come and sit down and you say, we built 2,000 chips compounds, we built 580 chips compounds.
1,600.
No, I'm just, okay. We built a number of chips compounds. We built this. Please give us specifics. That is what we have done with the delivery tracker. That is exactly what we have done. It's easier for me to sit here and start saying that under national infrastructure, in summary, infrastructure, agriculture, 403 completed, please, I hope you are not going to open the green book. 139 ongoing, and a total of 542. When you come to education infrastructure, 1,253 completed, ongoing 1,446. Energy infrastructure, if I mention numbers like this, then we can all mention the numbers. We can, on top of our head, mention numbers and go on to it. If you want specifics, education, top of my head. When the free SHS came in, for every region that you go to, and I'm sure you have correspondence in every region, ask them if they go to any senior high school, whether they don't see at least one infrastructure on the free SHS intervention program. You go to Gambaga Girls Secondary School, you go to Accra Girls Secondary School, you go to Infantsman, you go to Ebri Girls, you go to Achimota, you go to what's the school that we went to? Vakpo Senior High Technical. These are all schools that we can see the buildings there. Now, for every government that comes in, what you want to do is do small infrastructure, medium infrastructure, and large or legacy infrastructures. One critical example that Dr. Bawumia talked about on Wednesday was when he talked about dams. And then he gave a classic example that stuck with me. He said, when you come to the small earth dams, which is the 1V1D, these are micro ones that serve the specific and immediate needs of the residents. Now, when you go to the northern sector, and he mentioned on there, sorry, it's gone off, sorry, oh dear. Oh.
Yeah, look for it and
okay,
make reference to it. Okay, so I'm sure you've seen it now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so where is it gone now?
Have you seen it now?
Oh, I just opened it and I can't find it again. Don't worry. Okay, so when you go onto the 1V1D, we have, let me just use Facebook for it to help save me. Ministry of Special.
Yes, but as it saves you, your time is also running. So
we want to do specifics.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't worry.
So you can move on to another issue and come back and as you look for the 1V1 dam, and then you come back to so that you'll be able to make use of the time that's been allocated to you. So okay, health, chips compounds. He also gives examples on the app tracker. So if you go to I think he had I can't remember. There was one in Kontompo where he used that as an example that if someone says there's no development there, it is in Kontompo. We want names of places. That is what you find on the delivery tracker. If you sit down and you generalize it and you say, because I've built 10,000, a number is just a number. When he mentioned the 1V1D, he gave an example of the small earth dams, and then he went to medium and he talked about bone irrigation. That when you do, this is for a certain class as well, medium to large. And then he mentioned Pualugu Dam. That is a large one, a legacy one. So if you sit down and you say, because you built T3 or because you built Kotoka International Airport, it means you are leading in infrastructure. Go to Kumasi right now. Go to Ishiaeso constituency. Go to Kwada. So ask them their specific needs.
They want a chips compound. The government has built it for them. That is their immediate need. How many people may travel by air in their lifespan in the Kwadaso constituency, in the Menchia constituency, in the Aswanse constituency? They have roads. They have good roads. They want to go to the market in the morning. They want to see, do their business. They know that, yes, it's there. Nobody is disputing. If you come to, like Honorable Sam George said, he mentioned that we are claiming projects. The Vice President also gave reasons. He said, on the tracker, you see inherited projects. We did not say on there that because we met some projects, we didn't do it. Inherited projects, we give credit that this was done to maybe 60%. We have completed it. We also give credit to whoever completed it. Maybe what you're expecting is for Nanado to call the former president and say, please, let's go and do this or do that. No, it hasn't happened. Because gentleman Felix Kwachiofosu, he has a video where he says that if you cut a sword for a project, it doesn't mean that you built it. You want to build it and complete it, and then it is your project. So if you cut a sword, and you said you cut the sword in November or December 2016, elections have been done. Why didn't the project start? Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh has always explained that because of the same funding that the NDC is claiming that they had secured the funding, so the government should have built it. The funding was not there. It was this government that went back, did all the work to it, and built the University of Energy and, what's the name now? Somanya University. It was this government that built it. It was the
Environment and Sustainable Development.
University of Environment and Sustainable Development. Because you brought in a charter or an act, nobody is disputing that. But who cut the sword? Yes, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Who built it? It was built under Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh and His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So you can't sit down and say that because we cut the sword, it means we built it. So we should claim credit for it. Because you have already told us that if you cut a sword, it does not mean that you have built it.
But Dr. Bawumia also, in acknowledging the Pokwase interchange, says the loan agreement was signed in November 2016. Same with University of Environment and Sustainable Development. Loan agreement was signed in 2016. Yes, sword was cut. Project was not commenced before the NDC left office. But if you acknowledge an interchange where a loan was signed, project started when you assumed office, why can't you do same for a university where a loan was acquired and a sword was cut, but started under your regime?
Well, what were we expected to say that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama got the funding, so it is his building? Is that what Honorable Sam George or the NDC is now saying? We have said that on the app tracker, we have inherited projects. Nobody is stealing anybody's project. At the end of the day, it's not even for anybody, it's for Ghana. Now, when you come to One Village, One Dam, this is one at Denugu in the Garu district. Here it is. The dam is there. If I can show it on your screen, you can see it. If you go to Zangsilbuga in the Tampani district of the Upper East region, Small Earth Dam is here. If you go on to Bongo East, under the IPEP 1 million per constituency, they have used some of their money to construct a 3-unit classroom block with ancillary facilities for Dachio Primary School. If you go to rural Bongo So in the Bongo district, under the IPEP as well, with funding from 1 million per constituency, you have a market here, which is also on here. If you go to Zogu in the Nantong constituency, they also have a 10-unit market stores for under their IPEP. This is also one of them. Ongoing construction of a clinic at Zane, also in the Nang constituency. Completed constituency project, 3-unit classroom block with 4-seater KVIP at Gunu, also in the Nantong constituency. Completed solar-powered water system at Langogu in the Karaga constituency. Bulsa South, the construction of a small earth dam at Bedemi Bilsi is also underway under the 1D policy. Mankesim, first phase of the redevelopment of Mankesim market progressing steadily.
So your time is up.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
Your turn. Yes, you could see it. That's the clock in front. You started at 30, it's 40 now.
Okay. So let me round up.
Yeah, that would be unfair to Honorable Sam George. When it was his time, I cut in and came to you. So I'll give him 5 minutes and I'll come back to you for 5 minutes and then we wrap up the conversation. Yes, Honorable Sam George.
You know, I just want to also be clear about one thing. She asked me what my credentials were, and I stated, I'm an agric engineer with a degree in law. What is her credential?
I'm a high school dropout.
That's fine. I just wanted to put it in perspective for our conversation. Now, when you talk about good roads and say that there are good roads in Kumasi, I don't know what part of Kumasi, in Shaiso constituency, Swami constituency have some of the worst roads in this country. And so when you say there are good roads in Kumasi, I don't know what you're talking about. And then you challenged me to specifics on what we did. Now I'll give you specifics. And that's why I went to the dreaded green book. That is the nightmare of the NPP.
It's a fallacy.
Under the regional hospitals.
Hold on, I'll get back to you. Yes, go ahead, Honorable Sam.
Under regional hospitals. The 420-bed Ridge Hospital expansion project in Accra, is that a fallacy? Haven't you seen that building? The 386-bed Bolgatanga Hospital, is that a fallacy? The 250-bed Ashanti Regional Hospital at Sewa, is that a fallacy? The 160-bed regional Upper West Regional Hospital, is that a fallacy? You asked me about district hospitals. The 7 district hospitals that we built, Adodowa, Fomna, Kumewu, Abetifi, are they fallacies? The district hospitals with 60-bed capacity at Tepa, in Soko, Konongo, Salaga, Chifopraso, and the 100-bed in Medina, is that a fallacy? You want specifics. I will give you specifics. When it comes to the institutional hospitals, the 500-bed military hospital 500-bed military hospital in Kumasi, is that a fallacy? The 104-bed police hospital expansion project here in Accra, is that a fallacy? The 130-bed maritime hospital in Tema, is that a fallacy? Or the 10 polyclinics in Besiasi, Gomwade Rampong, Birewa, Echi Sunkwao, Esikuma, Jamra, Agona Duakwao, Bimpong Akunfude, Ekunfi Nakwa, Chifo Atimokwa, and Goma Potsen, all in the central region. Are those fallacies? Or the health centers at Amasaman, Dofo, Pokukrom, New JJT, Pakro, Golu, Funti, Sang, Northern Bupe, Manson Kwanta, Ebuakwa, Masi Sosepe, Keji, Adamso, Kayokro, Timonde, Bonsun Kwanta, and Adieso. These are communities in Ghana who are watching us today, who know that these projects all exist and they are not fallacies. So at the end of the day, when you want to go to war with a nuclear power that has nuclear weapons, you don't go there holding cudgels and cutlasses. You'll be blown to bits, and that's what's happening to the NPP. Because you cannot come and challenge us to a discussion on infrastructure when even you in the NPP, you admit in your private conversations that as for infrastructure, the Mahama fa.
Oh, really?
Yet you turn around and for political expediency want to come and challenge Mahama on infrastructure. Well, this gives me room to say that I am confident about the management of this economy when it comes to infrastructure development. And that is why I believe in the big push agenda, the $10 billion big push agenda of President Mahama. What is this $10 billion big push agenda? It is going to put Ghana back to work. It is going to ensure that contractors who have been deprived of payment for the jobs they have done for 4 years under this government, even though then candidate Akufo-Addo at the Ghana Institute of Engineers in October 2016 promised them that as soon as he came to office in 100 days, he will pay all outstanding certificates that are there. 4 years on, you've not paid them. You've not kept to your word. You suspended Cocoa Roads and did a $10 million audit of Cocoa Roads only to turn around and find out that there was nothing wrong with the Cocoa Roads. The only Cocoa Roads that were allowed to be done are the ones in the president's hometown of Chebi. I mean, this is the kind of governance that we're talking about. And so I believe that for everybody who is involved in the value chain of construction, and you see when we talk about construction, it is not just roads, it's not just schools, but it's hospitals, it is educational infrastructure. It is actually the social intervention infrastructure, the social infrastructure that helps the country to run. $10 billion is going to be put into this government, into this economy in the next government. It means that the mason or the steel bender or the artisan, the skilled worker who used to work at a construction site, but because the contractor has not been paid for 4 years by the heartless Akufo-Addo administration, and you have had to go home and not take care of your children, President Mahama will put you back to work. The engineer, the civil engineer, the structural engineer, the electrical engineer, who will work at all of these sites, that will come up again and become active sites again when President Mahama comes back to work, you will be put back to work.
Quick question.
Will be put back to work.
Quick question. So when you talk about the hospitals, institutional hospitals,
yes,
the maritime hospital, for instance,
for
example,
was that built by the government or it was funded by a facility acquired by the institution?
Fantastic. They talk about smart borrowing. The NDC administration introduced what you call smart borrowing, when we moved borrowing off the books of the public debts, or the public book debt stock of Ghana, and put them on the debt stocks of institutions that had the capacity to service their own facilities. So the Regional Maritime University, for example, hospital, was built by the Ghana Maritime Authority on its books with a guarantee from government that if the Maritime Authority defaults, government will absorb that from to its creditors. And so you then see the Ghana Maritime Authority putting in place the right measures and structures to be able to service its facility. The T3 that we built, it is the same ingenuity we used to get Ghana Airport to borrow on its books.
So that was just by way of clarification.
The same thing we did with the Turbo gas plant.
Great, that was just by way of clarification that they borrowed on their books.
Honorable Sam George, you know you included Dodowa, Tepa, Konongo and all that. Those are all Eurogate projects. They were started under President Kufuor. The funding was sought by President Kufuor. So you cannot sit down and claim them if you are saying that President Kufuor should also give credit to former President John Mahama. I've cited that. There's an irrigation project at Nobiko that was started by President Kufuor. It's also in your green book that you completed it. In 8 years, you did not put any single block there. One single block. So let's get that clear as well. Then you go on to say that we have oh, it's just gone off my head now. You had institutions that you took debts from them or you gave them debts and all that. That's not what we are talking about here. We are talking about infrastructure that are available for every Ghanaian, every person in their community. Something that when they want water to drink, potable water. Only last month or last week, the president commissioned the Nalerigu Water Project, the Dam and Go one. He also cut sword for Tamale and Yendi. When the people in Nalerigu and their communities go, they have potable water. And
thanks to President Mahama, the people of Chebi also have potable water to drink.
Do you know that the Ochihini came to debunk this thing?
No, he didn't come to debunk anything.
Let me just open that. If that alone takes my time. Ochihini.
Please go to that.
Yes, hold on. Yes, go ahead. You're making a point. But Ochihini what?
Said that water project.
He said you should not take credit for it.
The Ochihini was unhappy.
Because who built it?
Hold on. Ochihini was unhappy with some references which I do not want to repeat.
Yes. Okay. Not about the project.
Yes, so that's it. Go ahead.
So please correct it. It wasn't about the project.
I have done just that. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes, Amma, go ahead because.
No, so okay, don't worry. I'll go ahead.
So go
when
ahead
you talk about chips compounds like this government has built some. It is not just the NDC government that built chips compounds. If you sit down and say 200 and you open a book and you show it in there and it's a cluster of what's that word? 3D pictures. That does not make it that you've built it. People want to see it. People who live there want to have it.
Show me a 3D picture in this. Show me one 3D picture.
Go ahead. Honorable Sam George, if you would allow her. Yes, go ahead.
He's trying to distract me.
Yes,
your points are finished.
So go ahead and make your point.
More.
Go ahead and make your point. I have allowed you to make your point, or I probably would go on and then we wrap up the conversation. Yes.
So now I'm going to come to another one that we all talk about, our 1D1F project. This is an initiative between government and private persons. They are all around the country. You can see them. When you go to Abompe, for example, there's a beat bauxite.
How many of them are around the country?
Oh, as at June this year, about 132 of them by the Ministry of Trade and the 1D1F, when they brought in a list, they had done about 132 all across the country. Some of them were at various stages of completion as well. Today, I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit. My phone is also.
Did she say 132?
Yes.
That is completely different from what Dr. Baumia gave for the 1D1F.
Honorable Sam George.
So are you disputing Dr. Baumia, or you have more information than Dr. Baumia?
No, I'm just telling you that.
Because Dr. Baumia said 76.
Oh, God.
You said 132. Dr. Baumia said 76.
Hold on. I'm going to just
I have it here.
Just check what Dr. Baumia says when it comes to
76.
But she didn't talk about completed. She says that.
I said some of them are ongoing.
She says
and some of them are complete. Please don't twist my words.
Completed is 76. Ongoing is 113. Total 189. Where do you see 132?
So it's 189. So in fact, she actually understated 189. Go ahead and make your point.
Okay. So thank you for that. When you come to one district, one warehouse, when you go around the country, there's one in Ejura, Kumewu, other parts of the country. These are all projects that are ongoing that people are using Hitherto, when the farmers finished or the season was over, they had nowhere to store their products. These products went to waste. Now we are building warehouses for them. They can go and store them there. 1,000 metric ton capacity warehouses. These are all there. Hospitals or other infrastructure, they're also going on. Boreholes. Some people need water. When you come to them and you ask them what do they need or what do they want, they tell you that they need water. You provide it for them. You've done that for them. It means that you've sorted out a need, a specific need of a community. When you come to energy as well. Sorry.
Okay, so that'll be it. Your time is up.
Oh God, my time has been up.
So can I get a wrap up?
Yes, you're gonna wrap up in 2 minutes, and then we go.
Fantastic. If you want to talk about infrastructure, and tomorrow they say they're launching their manifesto, what I would expect Ghanaians to do is to ask them where the infrastructure that they promised in their 2016 manifesto is. When they promised that they were going to upgrade every district, every hospital, polyclinic that was not a district hospital to a district hospital, and wherever there was no district hospital, they will build. On page 83 of their manifesto, where they promised that they were going to build accident and trauma centers along every highway of this country. Where is that infrastructure? When they promised that they were going to fight corruption head on, where is that infrastructure? When they promised they will build 350 community-day senior high schools, they didn't say community, they said they will build 350 senior high schools. Where is that infrastructure? When they promised that they were going to make sure that Ghanaians would live in a peaceful atmosphere, under peaceful atmosphere, where is that? They said, in fact, if you take when the president swore in the Minister for Interior, he said he wanted a country where citizens can express dissent, can demonstrate on their own. When the law students demonstrated, they were beaten to a pulp by agents of the state. Same thing happened to the nursing graduates. You as a journalist, you are afraid to speak your mind because of the attacks you will come under. Yet this is the government. Oh, you don't need to say it. That's even the fear. The fact that you can't even admit that you are afraid is the height of fear.
No,
see, but the bottom line that we need to make is that this government has failed woefully in their promises that they made to the Ghanaian people. They promised every child a hot meal, a bar of chocolate in this country. Where is it? The one village, one dam that shit out. The minister you pay with our taxes every month. The Minister for Special Development Initiatives, Hawa Kumsin, said she cannot build meaningful dams. If the minister tells you the dams she's building are not meaningful, then it means they are meaningless. Because the opposite of meaningful is meaningless. And Sami Jemfi went with Joy News and other media houses to go and show you the meaningless dams. Dams that were dry in the dry season, empty. They told us that we will get the dams to have water in the rainy season. Is the value of a dam water in the rainy season or in the dry season? Look, if you want to take the failures of this government, they are enormous. In the history of the Fourth Republic, in fact, I dare say that from the inception of our nationhood as a republic in 1957, even military hunters have been more proactive and productive than this administration. Okay. This administration has failed at everything they put their hands to. And whilst you are going to wrap up, find a way to explain to us what has happened to the COVID tracker app and all the very many apps that you did for COVID-19 and why you have decided to scale down mass testing, even at the time where you were intending to open our airports. Wrap
up now.
This government has done tremendously well in 3.5 years. We are in August, so 3 years and 7 months.
8 months.
Okay, whatever. 3 years, 7 months. 8 months is not yet here. This is a country that we came in, the previous administration had taken us to IMF. When we came in, job situations, public sector working freeze. Now, even today, there's a new memo going on about the government recruiting health officers under the NDC administration. When they took us to IMF, they should tell us, were they able to recruit these health professionals? They picketed. Under the administration, we had the Unemployed Graduates Association of Ghana. Today, where do we find them? They are working. We have NAPCO that has recruited some of them. They are getting job experiences. They are getting money from it. So you cannot sit down and say that this government has failed woefully. When you come to security, who's chasing who? We are walking about freely in this country. Nobody has pointed a gun to anyone. Gone are the days when people sat in their homes and they would come and pick them from dinner time and nobody would see them. Tell Esi Edun Ketia or ask Esi Edun Ketia what happened in Serkwa to the Serkwa chief. who was killed, who was gunned down there. It was under this. It was under your administration.
The Mankalo of Pram Pram was killed under your administration.
Please. So when you come
the marketing manager for Ghana Ports and Harbour was killed under your administration.
I gave you the due respect.
Please
give me an example.
No.
Yes, you have the time in 1 minute.
Give me an example.
So you cannot sit here and say people are, because somebody was murdered in a particular regime, it means that security is not working or anything like that. When we started registration, you touted and made noise. There will be war in this country. People cannot go out. People went out.
Okay.
They did their registration. We are still working about freely.
And on that note, thank you very much, Amma Frimpong.
Please tell her that
thank you.
She should beg Nanado to come and President Nanado to debate President Mahama.
We do not have time for incompetence.
Thank you very much, all of you.
Or
thank
anything
you,
like that. Government official one can do that with his wife or his running mate.
Hold on, Amma. Thank you very much. Well, that'll be all from us this evening on Joint Caucus here on the Joint News Channel. My name is Winston. I'm on behalf of the team. We're grateful that you made time to join us. Join us same time next week, but of course on Wednesday it will be the Minority Caucus, and then on Thursday Majority Caucus. On Friday I bring you Joint Caucus. My name is Winston Amwa. You have a lovely evening. Keep watching the Joint News Channel. Up next is the Joint News Prime. Bye for now.